The 12 tribe chart is absolutely false. All 12 tribes were melanated, so-called black. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9, it reads, "The thing that had been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun." Israel was always different shades of brown, so-called black. Even when the children of Israel were in ancient Egypt, in the book of Shemot or Exodus chapter 12, they went in a few, and in the book of Exodus 12, around verse 38, it says, "And Israel and a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle." Exodus 12 and 40 reads, "Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. So Israel were in Egypt 430 years. But the modern day Egypt, which is America, the prophecy said that we will be in modern day Egypt, Acts chapter 7, verse 6 and 7, for 400 years. The slaves landed in Jamestown, Virginia, around the year 1619. 1619 up until the year 2019 was the fulfillment of that 400-year prophecy. Now, the Most High is pouring out his spirit upon the valley of dry bones, not only in America, but on the entire planet. All the children of Israel are waking up collectively. Remember, the prophecy says, family, that even though Israel shall be as the sand of the seas, only a remnant shall be saved, because the majority of the true Israelites, they won't accept the truth. They won't believe. They're caught in religion and traditions of men and self-worship. But that does not deny the fact that they are still the biblical Israelites. This is not a salvation topic. This is a truth topic. The world must know who the children of Israel are, which are the so-called melanated black people who can trace their lineage back to the transatlantic slave trade.
Founder of the 12 tribe chart that most of these Hebrew Israelite camps follow today were made up. Ben Afoti was one of the starting members of Abba Bivens Hebrew groups. Here is a clip of him admitting that the founder knew that the 12 tribe chart was false.
One time we were over there and they had the charts up, and they had the charts that said if you're Jamaican, you come from this tribe, and if you're from Barbados, it's that tribe, and boom, 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 boom. And read the book, said, "Hey, come on, Pop. What is, you know that ain't right." He said, "Of course, Danny, I know that's not right." He said, "But that's the hook. That's how we get them into place, and we wire them up to what's true." Well, you know, years later, after he passed away, and his sons and all of them, they either died or moved away, the Tanakh school began to teach those things as truth. This is the truth, you know. And, well, anyway, when we got cut loose by Chief Counsel, Princess Rivka, and my son and I, we kept Shabbat at home and all the holy days. And I didn't know where Bene Zarkain was, but I wanted to find them because that's where my teacher came from. And we had no roots. We were just floating, you know. I'm like, man, you know, we did the best.
Abba Bivens made up this 12 tribe chart, which is also the founder of One West, also known as the Israel School of Universal Practical Knowledge, which developed most of these Hebrew camps you see today. Abba Bivens' 12 tribe doctrine deceived those who actually want to seek truth.
Love all people. This is not a hate topic, but a truth topic. This is not a salvation topic, but a truth topic identifying who the true children of Israel are. Scientists find a change that accounts for white skin. This article was written by a Rick Weiss, Washington Post staffer writer, on Friday, December 16th, in the year 2005. Scientists said yesterday that they have discovered a tiny genetic mutation that largely explains the first appearance of white skin in humans tens of thousands of years ago. A finding that helps solve one of biology, most enduring mysteries and illuminates one of humanity's greatest sources of strife. The work suggests that skin whitening mutation occurred by chance in a single individual after the first human exodus from Africa, when all people were brown skinned. They call the people black. They call us black. We are different shades of brown. When all people were brown skinned, that person's offspring apparently thrived as humans moved northward into what is now Europe. Europe, or Russia, the Caucasus Mountains is where you get the word Caucasian from, is the land and the home of the white people. They, through Hollywood deception and the false narrative they have put in many so-called history books, history is his story. They have put themselves up to be everything else besides who they are. Respectfully, they are the Gentiles of the Bible. It says that person's offspring apparently thrived as humans moved northward into what now is Europe, helping give rise to the lightest of the world's races, leaders of the study at Penn State. So this is not Elder O saying this. This is Penn State University warned against interpreting the finding as discovery of the race gene. Race is vaguely defined biologically, socially, and political concept, they noted, and skin color is not only a part of what race is and is not. Israel and Jerusalem is on the continent of Africa, the land and home of all so-called melanated people. From the Shemitic people, which are Israelites, and the Hamitic people, which are so-called Africans. All 12 tribes are black, so-called black, really different shades of brown. In your spare time, go to YouTube and watch this entire video here. I will share a small portion of it. Fair use. Unmasking the fraud behind the 12 tribe chart. All 12 tribes are black. Do you know that at least 10 of the tribes listed in the chart are from the biblical tribes of Canaan? They have biblical Canaanites listed as Israelites in the false 12 tribe chart. And this is not a salvation topic. All races can be saved according to the Most High. This is a truth topic, not a salvation topic. All races who repent and are baptized can be saved.
Archaeologists and physical anthropologists have not found any evidence of Hebrew origins for the people of North, South, and Central America.
The genetic evidence shows clearly that American Indians are not Hebrews. They are not Israelites. Are not Hebrews. They are not Israelites. Are not Hebrews. They are not Israelites.
And then, family, also the whole false narrative of Esau being white and Jacob being black is a lie. The book of Josephus states that Esau and Jacob were alike in every way, saving only that Esau was hairy and Jacob was smooth-skinned. Esau and Jacob were both black. Esau, wives exposed.
Chapter 36. Now these are the generations of Esau, who
Esau
is Edom.
was described as
Esau took his
ruddy.
wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholibama, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite,
Ruddy is
and
what you
Bashemath,
consider a
Ishmael's
red
daughter,
bone.
sister of Nebajoth.
The 12 tribes have always been different shades of brown. From very light brown to a deep dark brown, which they call black.
The Egyptians and Nubians clearly distinguished themselves from Asiatics. But when you go to Kemet and you go to the wall, these are the Asiatics. Now you mean to tell me that ain't the same man? That's the same man. That's the same man. Some more Asiatics. That's what they look like.
And then southern Russia in the early centuries of the Christian era. Today's Jews derive from these Edomite Canaanites of such countries as Denmark, Sweden, Germany, Britain, America, Australia, Italy, France, Spain, etc. And Yahweh hates these people,
Yahuwah.
and he intends to destroy them totally
Yahuwah.
at the end of the age. Even Israelites, it's part of the great deception.
We love all people,
That
just
we find
exposing
in
the truth.
Revelation 12:9,
We don't
which
hate
tells us that
anyone.
there's a
We love
beast
all
that will
people.
deceive
But
the
the truth
whole
must be
world.
exposed. This is not
The
hate.
dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority. It was given power to make war against God's people and to conquer
Yahuwah's
them.
people.
And it was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation.
And for 2.5 days, over 2,400 years they've been ruling. This is love, not hate. The word ruddy in the scriptures called the Bible, many think that ruddy just means red. And they read that King Daud was described as ruddy and then want to make him red as a so-called Edomite. Unless you go into the etymology of the words and see for yourselves, you might be persuaded by man's opinions versus the truth. There is no scripture that says King David had red hair or red skin like the non-melanated people. That notion came from the misinterpretation of King Daud. In Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, ruddy is defined as a word used to refer to the red or fair complexion, in contrast to the dark skin of the Hebrews. So when it says ruddy, like it describes King Daoud or David as ruddy, meaning he was a fair-skinned black man. But in the Song of Solomon, his son Solomon describes himself as dark but beautiful or handsome. So King Daoud would have been what you know today as a red bone or a light-skinned black man, and his son Solomon was a dark-skinned Hebrew, as you see in many so-called black families to this very day. We have always been different shades of brown, from very light brown to a deep, dark, beautiful dark brown. This here is an entire lesson breaking down the word ruddy and black, which you can go on the internet, family, and research this in your spare time. There's a lot of information here with Strong's Concordance numbers verifying everything that I am sharing with you. And this is only a small portion of it. All 12 tribes have always been different shades of brown. All races can be saved if they repent and turn to the Most High, but this is identifying the truth, who the true children of Israel are. They have always been, we have always been so-called black. The San Bushmen of Africa are pure so-called African people. They have light skin and get lots of sun. The San Bushmen of Africa hold the oldest DNA markers going back nearly, as they say, 200,000 years. So they have the oldest and the purest DNA on earth, yet they are known as a ruddy, red-bone people. The children of Israel were always different shades of brown, in which they call black.
Coco.
Is over 22,000 years old. The Khoisan, or simply San, is an indigenous people of southern Africa. They possess a rich and vibrant heritage that stretches back for millennia. As the original inhabitants of the region, they have fostered a deep connection with their land and its diverse ecosystems. The San are renowned for their unique click languages, which echo the rhythm of nature itself. Their culture is steeped in storytelling, music, and dance, with rituals honoring ancestral spirits and celebrating the harmony between humans and the environment. Today, the San face challenges in preserving their traditions and reclaiming their ancestral lands, but their resilient spirit and cultural legacy continue to inspire admiration and respect worldwide. This tribe is over 22.
All 12 tribes are black. The 12 tribe chart is false. I would like you all to go on YouTube and watch this short documentary. You have a Gentile woman being raised in Africa with the San Bushmen people of Africa, which has the oldest and purest DNA on planet Earth. And she's out here running around with the lions and the cheetahs and the tigers. And the San Bushmen, who have been there for thousands of years, are telling her to not interact with the animals the way she does. Please watch this in its entirety in your spare time. Because it has sensitive content, I can't share it here, even though it's on YouTube's platform. But in your spare time, go check it out yourself. Look at this, family. He's gonna beat the cat with a stick. Heavenly Father. There are many out there that think that they are so-called Native American Indians. Many so-called black people think that because they have fair or light skin, that they have Native American Indian in their blood. Well, Don Chalita and Morgan Freeman both thought the same thing, but when they did a DNA test, they found out that they had 0% so-called Native American in their blood. And Morgan Freeman said that his mother's mother taught them that they were Indian, but when they did the DNA test, it was not true. Many may say, well, Elder, why are you harping on that? Why is it? What's the big deal with this? Well, I'm glad you asked. According to the scriptures, Tobit chapter 4 verse 12, Deuteronomy chapter 7 verses 1 through 10, and the book of Judges chapter 3 all stated that there were races of people that the children of Israel were to never intermingle or intermarry with. So it is important to identify who's who. And even if some of us go back, or some of you go back and say, well, hey, way back then, I found out in my family's bloodline that we had this and that. That still doesn't negate the fact that you are the children of Israel, because as they did in ancient Egypt, Exodus chapter 12, they have done in modern day Egypt, but you are still so-called melanated brown. I'm going to play a little clip here. Fair use. Pay attention.
The paper trail that we uncovered confounded our expectations. Unlike most African Americans who were freed by the end of the Civil War, your ancestors weren't.
They couldn't get it right.
Well,
they just stuck to it.
Well, somebody didn't get it right, but it wasn't your ancestors, it was the people who owned them. Take a look at this.
Chickasaw Nation Freedmen Roll.
This document is an official enrollment card for the Chickasaw Freedmen, the former slaves owned by the Chickasaw Nation.
Owned by the Chickasaw Nation?
Owned by the Chickasaw Nation. Your ancestors were enslaved by Native Americans. Here's your great-great-grandmother, Mary Kemp, her 11 children, including Bill Cheadle, your great-grandfather, William. And you can see William's father, Henderson, or Hence Cheadle. You are one of the few African Americans who was not enslaved by white people, enslaved by Native Americans.
I don't know how I feel about that. It's crazy because really you feel like, oh, the two biggest blights on the way this country started, you know, slavery and the genocide of the Native Americans and the Trail of Tears and all those horrible stories of what has happened to the Native people here. And
most people don't realize that the Cherokee, Creek, Seminole, Choctaw, and Chickasaw nations owned slaves. As self-governing entities, states' government didn't make a treaty with the Chickasaw until 1866, forcing them to liberate their slaves and make them citizens. The Chickasaws freed their slaves. Consider Alfred Carr part of your family?
Sure, he's my great-great-great-grandfather. There's no getting around that.
No.
Is there any way to get around that?
Nope. Actor Morgan Freeman is fascinated by his family history. He's traced his ancestry all the way back to his great-great-grandmother, Celie Johnson, who was black, and his great-great-grandfather, Alfred Carr, who was white. We wondered if Celie Johnson had been a victim of sexual exploitation, like so many other black women back then. So we were surprised to see that the 1870 census for Mississippi shows Celie Johnson and her 8 children living with Alfred Carr 5 years after the end of slavery. Going back even further, what else could records tell us about Celie and Alfred? Well, we looked at the 1860 census for Attala County.
Alfred was 60. He was laboring on a farm. Value of personal estate was $2,000, and he was born in North Carolina.
Now, if you look 2 lines up, you can see the head of household. In other words, the farm owner for whom Alfred Carr worked.
It says Mr. Andrew Johnson.
And this same Johnson family owned your great-great-grandmother, Celie Johnson. So your great-great-grandfather was working for the Johnson family and living on their farm. And Morgan having children with one of their slaves, which meant that any and all children that she bore were their property as well. Now, how does it make you feel?
Well, I don't know, really.
Alfred Carr just stood by while Celie Johnson and their 8 children were held in slavery for years. Why did she end up living with this man once she was free? We went to Attala County to examine the records. What we found was a revelation about Celie and about her family's relationship to Alfred. We discovered that in 1869, Alfred Carr purchased property with James, his eldest son, with Celie.
Is that right?
Then a year later, Carr sells the same piece of land to James and to 3 of his brothers. And when you were growing up, did your family ever?
Not one word.
Not one word. Now, it would be certainly surprising if 4 very young men who had been slaves had the sum of $1,500 just 5 years after emancipation.
Okay.
Well, according to Mississippi law, illegitimate children could not inherit property from their fathers. It may be this was a way for Alfred Carr to provide for Celie and their mixed children.
Really?
Well, we went to the land that
thing that had been is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. In the book of Exodus chapter 12, the children of Israel came out a mixed multitude in the original Egypt, as they are in modern day Egypt. When reading Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 15 through 68, and you see all of the slavery and everything that happened to the children of Israel historically mentioned of in the scriptures, which they call the Bible, that only fits one race of people on this entire planet, and that's the so-called black people. The Bible is black history. Fair use.
She pure. I be saving her like Master Maxwell tell me.
She a Mandingo wench. You don't let just any bug get to her.
Big Pearl, you're the only one can tell us most certain. Well, nothing ailing the wench, except she craving. In the butter heat, she's hipped, plumb hipped.
Old Duck Redfield, nothing he don't know about it.
Hammond, son, you pleasure her, she get better. You don't, she fall off.
I'm too black, Master, sir. I'm not fitting for you.
Master's duty to pleasure the wench's first time, you know that.
Pure Mandingo. You got bucks, too?
I'd give $3,000 for a Mandingo buck. Need one, breed her.
Go on, man, go on.
All right, Lucy. Grace your boys, you can go.
Got a Mandingo! Purebred Mandingo!
I want to see. This is what I was looking for, yeah. Oh!
Playful as a kitten, strong as a bull elephant. Good Lord, man.
I don't buy the pig in the poll.
I'll carry on like a man.
If she buys him, he gonna find out tonight she ain't no man.
You mean that white lady pleasure with that nigga?
That's a German widow, and German ladies can never pleasure enough.
How much?
3,500.
I give you 3,000.
I'll pay the price you're asking.
You are no gentleman trying to take the nigger from the poor widow woman.
The use you crave to make of him, ma'am, I ain't letting you get him.
4,000.
I'll pay more, 500 more.
Schweinhund!
I do not teach hate. I absolutely love and respect all people, no matter what race, color, and creed. But through mind manipulation, they have taught the melanated so-called black people to hate themselves. How can you have love for another when you don't even love yourselves? So I am not teaching hate. I love all people, and I am teaching and sharing for us to love all people, but you cannot love everyone else more than you love yourselves.
Who taught you, please, who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself who taught you to hate being what God gave you.
The so-called black hair business is a $10 billion a year industry. Think about what I just said, family. $10 billion a year annually the so-called black woman spends on false hair products. Imagine if we took those $10 billion annually and invested it in ourselves and in our communities. They have taught our people to hate themselves, and they make merchandise of us. The Heavenly Father in the book of Daniel chapter 7 has woolly hair, ninth ether, so-called what you would call curly or nappy hair, and so does the Messiah. Think about what I am saying. The Heavenly Father, Yahuwah, and his son Yahushua both have woolly hair and melanated skin according to the scriptures. Think about our Creator and we being made in his image, but through what they've pushed on our people, they've taught our people to hate themselves and to conform into an image that was not of the original creation. Fair use.
Probably will soon. A new trend in the way black women are styling their hair.
But it's not just about a new look. In a story you'll see only on 5, News Channel 5's Rochelle Ritchie shows us it's a way of redefining years of beauty and having a healthier lifestyle by going au naturel.
It's a $9 billion industry. From hair relaxers to extensions and now the popular lace front wig, black women are the biggest target for hair companies, known to spend large amounts of cash on their hair, no matter how much the economy flips.
A stylist I used to go to, he said, I am not worried at all because black women always will spend money on their hair.
Hair relaxers promise to take the kink of black hair and make it bone straight. And whether they are glued in or sewn in, hair extensions or weave give black women the shine and length they want, while wigs make it easier to do all three in less than 5 minutes.
From an Afro-American woman who lost from a chemical burn from a hair relaxant.
Dr. Larry Shapiro, a dermatologist in Delray Beach, has also been doing hair transplants for more than 20 years. He says all this manipulation black women do to their hair is causing it to fall out.
It's going to pull your hair out, and you're going to have permanent hair loss. I see it all the time in my practice.
Most black women know the unpublished rules to follow before getting a relaxer.
There's a lot of rules.
And what happens when you scratch?
It burns. You burn. You can get scabs in your head. It's like you want to wash it out right away. Like, it can be extreme. Like, some people cry.
And traction alopecia can be a result of braiding and wearing extensions for a long period of time, causing the hairline to eventually disappear. But despite the harmful health effects, those images of straight, long hair have taken a toll on young black girls like 6-year-old Gianna Louisma.
This is my tennis ball.
Gianna is all smiles while playing at home, but her mother Johanna says it's a different story when she goes to school.
She would voice to me that her friends would say bad things about her hair.
Johanna says because young black girls like her daughter have been conditioned to believe beauty is having long, straight hair, they develop insecurities as youngsters.
She wanted that straight, flowy hair. She wanted hair like her friends, and then she also mentioned that she wanted hair like mine.
Johanna says she's been getting her hair relaxed for over 10 years, but never thought her hair habits would affect her daughter so deeply.
To a specialist now. She has to go to a dermatologist to figure out how she's going to grow her edges back. Her edges are completely gone. They are bald to the scalp. She said that a specialist one time recommended red light therapy or something like that. She has completely damaged her hair follicles. This is not a temporary thing in the black community. This is not a hair enhancement. This is a mental illness. Okay? This is a mental illness. I've heard a black woman say one time on Instagram, one time I was looking at her stories, and she actually has me on her close friends. And what she said was, what do y'all do in between styles, honey? I ain't trying to be walking around with this ponytail. It's done a number on black women. That's how I knew that this system in general has done a wonderful job of dismantling not just the black homes, but the black minds, especially black women and of other races and ethnicities, to the point where it is sick and it is disgusting. And what's worse, we don't have any, we don't want anybody to correct us. But I'm here to tell you, a fair-skinned black woman, because like I said in my last video, it ain't gonna sound right coming from a white woman. It ain't gonna sound right coming from our men. But I'm telling you right now, we have a mental illness. We do. A black woman came up here on TikTok one time. I forgot what her name is.
Proverbs 17:22. Laughter is like good medicine. Fair use.
You say women are tricking men.
Yes.
Okay.
Me and these women are tricking us.
Okay. You got a PSA for men everywhere. You say women are tricking men.
Yes.
Okay.
Me and these women are tricking us.
Okay, really?
With these girdles.
Oh.
If you see them at church, she's a size 6.
Yeah.
But if you catch her at home and she ain't got that girdle on, she every bit of a 16. And I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm sick of. Okay, excuse my frustration, but I'm sick of it. You know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of this baby hair.
The baby, oh, really?
Y'all slick this stuff down and glue it to your eyes like this. And them girdles, they get home and they take them girdles loose and bust out of it like a can of biscuits.
We do.
I'm just sorry, I'm just frustrated about that. Because you see them, this stuff, it brings that booty up like this. When they have it, they take that thing off, everything just...
You may be asking, Elder, what does hair have to do with the prophecy and the 12 tribe chart being false? It has everything to do with it, because it is still identifying through the curses that was placed upon the father's children for their disobedience, for not hearkening unto his law, statutes, and commandments, you can identify who his people are on planet Earth by the curses that are mentioned of in Deuteronomy 28 and throughout the entirety of the scriptures. Now, the hair, that's mentioned of in Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people, the children of Israel, you melanated, woolly-haired people, so-called black people, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. The overwhelming majority of the houses in America are being ran by single mothers. Now, according to the CDC, look this up, the most responsible fathers out of all races, including the Caucasian, so-called European, is the so-called black man. Look it up. Prior to Jim Crow and feminism, which took place in the early 60s, over 80% of all so-called black homes were ran by the father. They were father-led homes. Did you know that in the book of Malachi chapter 4, that houses that are not being led by fathers are under a great judgment? Go look it up yourself. Malachi chapter 4. As for my people, children are their oppressors, women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy path. Who told the melanated woman that she does not need a man in the home? The Greco-Roman Europeans. Isaiah chapter 3 verse 16. Moreover, Yahuwah said, because the daughters of Zion, you so-called black women, are haughty, meaning proud, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore Yahuwah will smite with a scab the crown of the head, the daughters of Zion, without those lace front wigs and those extensions. The majority of melanated so-called black women have traction alopecia. And even if they don't, Abba Yahuwah says he hates every false way. Attaching another nation's hair unto your head, putting on false makeup and lipstick and false fingernails. Abba Yahuwah hates every false way. It says, Isaiah 3:17, therefore Yahuwah will smite with the scab the crown of the head, the daughters of Zion. And in that day Yahuwah will take away the bravery of the tinkling ornaments about their feet, their cauls, their round tires like moons, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets, the ornaments of the leg, the headbands, the tablets and the earrings, the rings and the nose jewels. Isaiah 3:21 speaks of nose jewels. The only women that wore nose jewels was Ezekiel chapter 16, around verse 8, when women got married in the scriptures, when their hymen was pierced, they pierced their nose. They did not wear wedding rings. Wedding rings are not biblical. Married women wore a small piercing in their nose, as mentioned of in Ezekiel chapter 16. And if you read it from the King James Zondervan Study Bible in the footnote, it will verify everything that I'm saying. So these women were married, Isaiah 3:21, but they were proud and they did not listen to their husbands, and the children ran the home. Isaiah 3:22, the changeable suits of apparel, the mantles, the wimples, and the crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen, and the hoods and the veils, and it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be a stink, instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well-set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, girdling of sackcloth, and instead of beauty, burning. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty men of war. America has been at war continually for over 220 some odd, nearly 230 years consistently. Men and women are born in equal number, but because they build the infrastructure of the world and they fight in wars, men lose their lives at a much higher rate than women. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty men in war, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. And don't even let me go to Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. The Bible is black history, and the 12-tribe chart is false. Like, share, and subscribe. Much love to everyone. Shalom. Scriptures commonly call the Bible is black history. The 12-tribe chart is false. All 12 tribes are so-called black.